Yo, what's going on, homies? Stunula here. Today we are going to be going over some family tips to hopefully make you a better family member when playing the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Tip number one is to use your family focus ability as much as possible. It is one of the strongest things that you can use as a family member to locate victims that are hiding. Basically, when you hit your middle mouse button or whatever button it is on a controller, it gives you like a heightened perception of your surroundings, so you can hear victims saying voice lines. I'll show you a clip right here, and I found Connie because of this.
Why won't they leave me alone? Fuck!
Tip number two is for the cook, and basically you want to get your locks down before you start harvesting blood if a victim team is rushing you. That's the most important thing that you have to do as a cook player at the start of the game, is to make sure that your locks are down. If you don't place them early, you can get put into a situation where you have a victim with higher proficiency, or someone like Connie just running to the front door and instantly opening it at the start of the game. Don't let that happen.
Falling, dreaming.
Tip number three is for the hitchhiker, and it is to place traps at off angles, so when a victim is running through an area, they don't immediately see your trap. They kind of have to do some investigating to see if there's an actual trap there. And in the event that they don't realize it, they're going to get trapped for free, essentially. Tip number four is to be patient with Leatherface's chainsaw when you're going for an overhead attack. Oftentimes, victims are going to try to spin around you or get close to you in order for you to miss, and if you can avoid this by chainsawing past them or just waiting a split second or a couple seconds extra, a lot of the time it'll be in your benefit. At the start of the game, if you're playing Sissy, you should poison the most common basement exits to prevent a victim rush. This will force victims to either push through the poison, or it'll force them back down into the basement, giving Leatherface additional time to hopefully get an elimination before they're able to get out of the basement. Tip number six, when you're playing hands, you can turn off the generator or car battery at the start of the game and immediately ripstall it back. This will put a trap on whatever object you ripstalled, and it will also keep the 3 traps in your inventory so you can place them throughout the map where you see fit. Tip number 7, with Leatherface, after you break a breakable barrier, you should swing after. It will increase the time it takes for you to recover, allowing you to catch up quicker to that victim that just vaulted the barrier in front of you. Tip number 8 is for Nancy. When you're playing her, you should place your barbed wire in regularly accessible locations so you don't have to travel across the map to reset your barbed wire in the event that you have to. It takes a significant amount of time to set it and also reset it, so traveling across map, especially with Nancy, seeing that she's one of the slower family members, is kind of a pain in the ass. So if you set them in a general vicinity, say like a set area, it becomes a lot easier for you to manage her barbed wire and get the most use out of it. Tip number 9 is for close encounters, and when you see somebody enter a close encounter, instead of running up to them trying to swing at them and potentially swinging past them, what you should do is you should run next to them, stand still, don't keep moving, and just start attacking. This will prevent your family member from swinging past the victim and potentially losing out on a free kill. Tip number 10 is, if you're using the perk activated on killer, which you probably should be using considering the current grapple meta, what you can do to activate it early or preemptively before the survivors get up and outside of the basement is to either have one of your teammates stun you via a door stun, or what you can do is you can walk into one of the electric cattle grids and stun yourself by just shocking yourself, essentially. And a bonus tip that I would like to give is, when you are playing as a trap-based killer or a killer that has a lock like Cook, you can use your family sense and figure out whether or not your locks have been broken or your traps have been busted, barbed wire has been shredded, The only character you can't really do this with is Hans, but that would just make him absolutely insane. So I get why they didn't do that. Also with Cook, you're able to say a victim gets on one of the doors and you see them trying to work on your padlock. You can quickly take your padlock off and put it back on the door, and this will reset the victim's progress all the way back down to 0, so they have to start the lockpick minigame from essentially the beginning again. And if you have security pins or no one escapes hell, this becomes really annoying. And that is my video. If you guys have any more suggestions that you want to give people, let them know down in the comments. And also, if you enjoyed the video, consider checking out my Twitch channel. I try to stream almost every day, so come hang out with me. The link will be down in the description.